Welcome back to another fun project I have. So I took a deck of cards and I left them in their package because that was so much easier. I did some without being in the package and they kind of like fanned out, but I took them out on the drill and I just drilled a hole in them. So they're all in the same spot and I put a ring through them. My intentions and thought process with this is to use them as a sampler. You can do a little technique on a card. You could write on one side excuse me, write on one side what it is and then do the technique. Or you could use them for just inspiration. In the, um, Along with the cards, they will come drilled with a ring on them already, set up, ready to go, and you will get some beautiful words. These are from Junk with Steph. You will have some quotes and some words. It's just going to be kind of mixed up. I'm going to print the full pages and then chop them up so you can get a little bit of all kinds of things. And remember to thank her and anybody who orders from her. If you put the word Hartist in there, it always helps our organization a lot. So we're going to move these over so I don't mess these up. And I'm going to start right off the bat with this card. And my thoughts were techniques, and I would love to do some YouTube, some Facebook Lives with the Hartists, and we can work on a new technique, and we can just use this as our sampler. But there's no reason you can't use it as a sampler, and then the next one be a word of inspiration. And maybe the technique you're going to use is so simple you don't have to write a description, so the other side can be some words to inspire you or a journal prompt. There's lots of ways these can go. So this first one right here, which I took right off the top, is where I'm going to start. A good thing to do, because these are brand new cards, shiny right out of the box. Some of the old ones you won't have to do this on. I'm just going to rough it up, get the shine off of it. And there's, then you can put some gesso on it or paint it or whatever. And I don't worry about how good I sand it. I'm going to go ahead and sand this side. And just kind of rough it up a little bit so that whatever you glue on it sticks. And then we're going to do our first little technique. So I grabbed a couple extra things here. And we're going to use a napkin. Anyone who knows what kind of art projects I've done, I really don't use napkins. But I see people going after them like crazy and using them a lot. And I recently received some gorgeous ATCs from Melissa, and I love how she used the napkin on them. So we're going to separate our layers of napkin. I chose sunflowers, just feel like a sunflower today. And so many times they're hard to do. My fingers are sticky from gluing on the other project just a few minutes ago. So squeeze that together and then the glue it helps me pull them apart. So I'm going to get rid of the back layer. And yes, I could have done that, but when I reached over and tried to tear it apart and I realized how well it went with my sticky fingers, I was like, oh, well, that's a good tip. I know it could be a pain, but I don't think, no, that's the only one. So let's get this out of the way before I make a terrible, terrible mess, which probably will happen regardless. And I don't need all of this. We're just going to cut it off, put this away for a rainy day or another project, whichever might happen first. And so this is my first time in a long time of using napkins. I mean, years. I did this when I sold Stampin' Up, and I haven't sold Stampin' Up for at least, I don't know, 18 years, something like that. So I did this on a live and had some help with another project, and I was told to put it down, not on the napkin. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And it didn't take long to figure out why. And so I'm just going to put the napkin on there and smooth it down. And I'm going to just, maybe I'm just going to flip this over. And I'm just going to roughly trim it because I'll trim it better when it's dry. This way I don't have to fight all that napkin. Like that. So basically that is all there is. But I loved how she did this because of the numbers and suits showing through. And then you're put another coat on to kind of seal it all in place and give it a nice finish. You could ink the edges, do whatever it is. And I'm going to put this little quote because when I looked at the list of what I wanted to use, this one jumped out at me. So I think it was meant to be. Put this little quote on here right there. Where do I want? I want to see the 7s and stuff, so we'll put it right down here. And I got it all nice and dirty. So guess what? We will be inking this because I don't want the dirtiness. And it says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. So that would be the beginning of our set. I should be able to look at this and know what it is, so I wouldn't have to write anything on the back if I didn't want to. And because of where I grabbed this card, I grabbed it like this. Now granted, I could turn it over and they all be wow, you know, hanging like this, but I wanted them to hang like this. So this would be technically the front. And so when it's all dry, I'll poke my hole back out, trim it up, and I think I want to do something to the front of this. And let's see, let's go ahead and put this little plastic bag down here. And I'm going to go back to my collage. I like this. And I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to use this collage almost as is. This is one of my own that I have photocopied. And I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on. Big step for me to use this glue. I like my glue stick, and I'm just going to put that on there. And it could be trimmed just a little bit more down here. It was not my intentions, but it does kind of fit pretty much right within that blue frame. So it's still a little bit framed and kind of matted looking. Let's trim just a smidgen more off of here. Didn't get enough glue up there anyway. And I'm not going to go over this because this is just a plain old photocopy and it would run. So when this is all dry, I will spray this with a matte sealer, or you can use your gel plate to seal it. And in fact, let me just show you that so you get kind of two techniques with that. So let me go grab my gel plate. I shall be right back. Sorry to leave you hanging. Not that you ever know you're hanging, but sometimes the idea just comes in my head and I don't have the materials with me because I am working in my dining room. So what I'm going to do is put the gel medium on here. I'm using the brush because it's already dirty. I'm going to use a brand new brayer, and as I was walking back in here, I've decided I'm going to put a tag on this that says matte medium only. That way I don't have to worry about paint building up on it when I want it to use it as a clear coat. So I'm just going to do that nice and smooth. And then I'm going to put this down, trying not to slide, which I did, but I think that's all because it's so little. And now I'm going to lift it. And now I have a coating of matte medium on that nice and even, and I won't have any brush strokes from the ink moving around. So it was kind of a two technique in one. And I think this is going to now be the cover of my book. When this is all dry, I'll put it back together and have the book finished, and you'll be able to see that. So here we are, all nice and dry. This is now the cover of my little playing card booklet, and this is the technique of napkin with a cute little word. So I hope you have a good time with these and make really, really cool stuff. I did let it dry. It's still a bit damp, but it's dry enough. And then I slightly inked the edges just so that it had a little bit of color to it. As you can tell, it's still damp. It's coming off on my fingers. So enjoy. It's just another little thing we can make with a playing card. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.